India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is on three-day visit to Tokyo beginning from July 28 to attend a foreign ministerial meeting of the four-nation grouping Quad comprised of India, US, Japan and Australia. During the meet that will take place on July 29th, the External Affairs Minister will hold discussions with his counterparts from Australia, Japan and the US. The meeting is expected to lay the ground for the Quad Leaders Summit to be held in India later this year. The Quad ministers will also exchange views on developments in the Indo-Pacific region, other regional and international issues and review progress on Quad initiatives and working groups. The last meeting of Quad took place in New York in September 2023. And the 14th East Asia Summit Foreign Ministers meeting and the 31st ASEAN Regional Forum convened in Vientiane, Laos PDR on Saturday. The East Asia Summit reviewed cooperation among member nations and discussed its future direction. It also exchanged views on regional and international developments. At the ASEAN Regional Forum, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar stressed the necessity for the international community to take a robust stance against terrorism in all its forms. More in this report.
The 14th East Asia Summit held in Vientiane, Laos PDR discussed its future direction as well as exchanged views on regional and international developments. Ukraine conflict in Gaza and peace in Asia-Pacific region dominated the agenda at the meet.
It is apparent that peace, security and stability are fundamental prerequisites for national socio-economic development in all countries in the world. The Asia-Pacific region is one of the most dynamic regions of the world in terms of economic growth. Thus, to sustain peace and prosperity in the region requires active participation and constructive cooperation of all area participants.
From India, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar outlined India's stance on Ukraine conflict in Gaza and other issues. Jaishankar stressed on peace, stability, prosperity and development in the Indo-Pacific region. Dr. Jaishankar stressed that the sea lines of communication passing through the South China Sea are critical for peace, stability, prosperity and development of the Indo-Pacific region. He said that the code of conduct should be substantive and effective, consistent with the international law and should not prejudice legitimate rights and interests of nations not party to discussions. On Myanmar, the minister said India's focus is on ensuring border security, countering transnational crime, mitigating violence and advancing connectivity projects, adding to our endeavors are mutually supportive in order to restore democracy. Leaders attending the meet in Laos PDR also held bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken held bilateral talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. Secretary Blinken raised concerns about Beijing's recent provocative actions in the region. Earlier, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken also spoke at Foreign Ministers' meet of ASEAN. Besides sharing his views on Russia-Ukraine conflict, nuclear threat from North Korea, Blinken also accused Beijing of escalatory and unlawful actions against the Philippines.
Whether it's Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, the DPRK's nuclear weapons and ballistic missile programs, the ongoing and heartbreaking crisis in Burma, or the PRC's escalatory and unlawful actions taken against the Philippines in the South China Sea over the last few months.
After the summit, top-level diplomats attended the 31st ASEAN Regional Forum to discuss security in the Indo-Pacific region. The ASEAN Regional Forum comprises of 27 member countries and was established in the year 1994. Dheeraj Das report for DD India.
And India has deepened its strategic partnership with ASEAN as External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a series of high-level meetings on the sidelines of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Laos. New Delhi's focus on strengthening bilateral ties and addressing regional challenges was evident during these engagements. Here's a report.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has reaffirmed India's steadfast commitment to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, emphasizing its centrality to the country's Act East policy. On the sidelines of the ASEAN foreign ministers' meetings, he also held a series of high-level engagements to strengthen bilateral ties and address pressing regional issues. India and Laos pledged to deepen cooperation in development, defence and digital technology, reflecting the growing strategic partnership between the two nations. Dr. S. Jaishankar also commended Indonesia's leadership during the ASEAN chairmanship and expressed its appreciation for the contribution to India-ASEAN relations. As India seeks to enhance its partnership in the region, the meeting with South Korea focused on strengthening the special strategic partnership. With the European Union, discussions centered on deepening cooperation in trade, clean energy and emerging technologies. India and Singapore aimed to chart a new course for their bilateral relationship, while with Malaysia, the focus was on implementing initiatives to bolster bilateral ties. The ASEAN Post-Ministerial Conference provided a platform for India to articulate its vision for a peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. New Delhi reiterated its support for Laos's ASEAN chairmanship and emphasized the importance of addressing shared regional challenges. Beyond economic matters, India also underscored its commitment to regional peace and stability. The Myanmar crisis and the complex dynamics in the South China Sea were key topics of discussion. India's position as a credible and balanced power in the region was reiterated, with a focus on diplomacy and dialogue as the path forward. As the region navigates complex geopolitical landscape, India's engagement with ASEAN has taken on increased significance. The meetings in Laos have reinforced India's role as a key player in the Indo-Pacific, committed to a rules-based order and inclusive growth. Its growing engagement was also underpinned by shared interests in economic growth, security and connectivity. By strengthening its ties with ASEAN member states, India aims to play a more influential role in shaping the region's future.